Welcome everyone in class number 4 of course on C++ programming, where we are going to learn data types in C++ and rules for identifiers. So let's discuss first the data types in C++ programming, and then we are going to discuss about the rules for identifiers. Let me tell you what do I mean by data types. Whenever we are declaring variables in a C++ program, we can have different data types that includes numbers, that could be a whole number or that could be a decimal number. We can also have some character, or we can also have a series of numbers. So these are the different data types that could appear in a C++ program, ranging from a simple integer to a series of characters. So let's discuss first the integers. Now integer is a one which is used when the data is stored in a whole number, that could be a positive, negative or 0. The examples can be shown here: 5, 99, minus 3, 0. So these all are included as an integer. So keyword for the integer is int. So here you can see a basic C++ program. In the main function, we would be declaring first the integer. So the keyword for the integer is int. So we will be writing here int first, and then we can declare any integer like x is equal to 5 and then semicolon. So then x would be an integer that has a value of 5. We can also place minus 5 or 0, but keep in mind that int will be used when a variable has a value as positive, negative or 0. Another data type is float and double. I am going to discuss them together because more or less they are similar with each other with a little difference between them. Float and double are used when the data stored is in decimals. The examples can be shown here, like for example 1.2, 2.33, any value in minus like 9.5, but in decimals. All those which are being shown in the decimals, those are actually the float or double. And as far as the keyword is concerned, keyword for the float and double are on the names. Like float would be used here if you are going to use float as a data type, or if we are using double as a data type, then double will be used instead of float. And then we can declare any variable like x, y that has some value, like x is equal to 1.2 or y is equal to some value like 1.8. Now let me discuss the difference between float and double, that is when we can use float or double. That depends upon precision. And what do I mean by precision? Precision is how many digits after the decimal. Like for example, if we have a value of 1.2, so you can see the value after the decimal is only 2. So there could be multiple digits after the decimals. So when to use float and when to use double, it depends upon the digits after the decimal. So precision for the float is 6 or 7 decimal digits, and precision for the double is 15 decimal digits. And also depends upon the size. The size in the float is only 4 byte, but in case of double it is double, that is 8 byte. That's because of the number of decimal digits they are carrying. Now moving on to next, we have character. Now character is to be used when we store a single character, such as the one which is being shown in the single quote. A is actually a character only, and usually they are being surrounded by the single quote like this one. Also we can use ASC2 table to print any character. So here is an example of that table. Likewise, if you are declaring a character that has a value of 33, and when we are going to print it, the character that is going to appear would be the exclamation mark. What do we mean by that? Before I further discuss about this table, let me tell you the keyword for the character, that is char. Now if you want to use this table, then first we need to declare a character like char, a character, and let's say that we are having one identifier as a, and that is equal to any number, that could be any number. This is just in a small table that I've taken, but the number, there are multiple numbers are there, I think more than 100, and it will have designated character. So let's say if I'm going to place a is equal to 33, and then I write as C out in session operators a and then semicolon. Now what this program is going to print, because I have given the value as 33 to this character, now it will print out the exclamation sign. So let's see that whether this is going to give the same character or not. So character a, which is equal to 33, and then C out a. Now let's see whether it's going to give exclamation mark or not. Yes, here you can see it's the exclamation mark. So similarly, other numbers can be used to print out any character using this table. Moving on to next data type, that is Boolean. Now this data type is used when conditional settings are used, like whether the condition is true or false. If the condition is true, then 1 will be displayed, and if the condition is false, then 0 will be displayed. And the keyword that is going to be used in Boolean data type would be bool. So let's have an example of the Boolean. Let's say that we are going to declare one data type A as Boolean, and that is true, and another bool which is B, and that is false. Now we are going to print out A. Let's see what we are going to get. We have got 1, it means it's true. We can also see out as B, then we can see the output as 0 because B is equal to false. So this is how the Boolean data type can be used. Now moving on to the last data type, which is string. Now string is in connection with characters, but a string is used when we have to store sequence of characters, not a single character but a sequence of characters, and that is being surrounded by the double quotes. And one more thing that we are going to add when we are using string is that we must include one more header file in the source code as the string, and the one which we have used here along with the IOStream. The string is to be used whenever the string data type is to be used, and the keyword for the string is string, string. So let's have an example of the string. First we need to include the string library first, and then let's say that we are having one data type as A, and that is equal to series of characters like C++, but we have to write in double quotes. So C++ is just an example. So when we are going to have the output of it, then let's see what we are going to have. See, we have got the same C++. So string is to be used when we have sequence of characters, not the single character but a sequence of characters. That could be a word, that could be a sentence, or that could be any combination of the symbols. So this is all about the different data types that we have discussed. Now in the last we are going to discuss the rules for the identifiers. Now let me tell you what we mean by the identifiers. Identifiers are actually the one which identifies different variables or the data types. Like here, X is the identifier. Now we have some rules for the identifiers, that what should be the name that we would be giving. Like here I have written X. I can write any name, like for example my age, or any name we can give to the data type in the form of a variable. So the name that we are giving in the form of identifiers, for that we have some rules available, that are, the first thing that comes in rules is that it can contain letters like A, B, C, it can contain digits like 1, 2, 3, and one another thing that it can contain, that is underscore, like this symbol, the underscore symbol. The next rule for the identifier is the beginning, the start of the identifier. Like in this case I have used M as an beginning of the identifier. The rule is the identifier should begin whether with a letter or it should begin with a underscore symbol. It means it cannot start with a digit, so we have to keep in mind that. The next thing in the rules of identifier is the names are case sensitive. What do I mean by that? If I write one identifier as my class and another identifier as my class, now the difference is the C that is used here is in lowercase, the C that is used here is in uppercase. So both are different variables. So we have to keep in mind the uppercase and the lowercase in mind. The next thing in the rules of identifiers is the names. In names, there should not be any white space. Like if I write as my class with the space, it means that will not be counted as an identifier. So there should not be any gap in between that. The another thing that we have to keep in mind is there should not be any special character like my, and then if I write a static symbol and then class, so this will not be counted as an identifier. There should not be any special character in the name of the identifier. And the last thing that we have in the rules of identifiers is the reserved words like int, char. There could be another like string. So these are the reserved words. These are already been taken. So we cannot use these names as identifiers. So we have to keep in mind about these things. So this is all from the rules of identifiers. So in this class we have discussed about the different data types, and at the end we have discussed about the rules of identifiers. So this is all from this class. I hope you have now got the concept for the different data types and the rules for the identifiers. So this is all from this class. Thank you for watching the video.